All right. So Novocaine. Maybe not
All
Novocaine.
right.
No, all right.
All right.
So Novocaine.
Let's do this.
Here we go.
All right. All right. Welcome to Fresh Out. I'm Cude,
I'm JC.
and we're fresh out of Novocaine.
Novocaine brings the action with Jack Quaid channeling his inner John Wick to save a damsel in distress. So, Novocaine.
Novocaine.
So what was your expectation going into this movie?
I expected it to be a fun, comedic romp with a dude who can't feel anything.
That's exactly what it was.
That's exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So I went in expecting exactly what this is. What did you think?
So we see Jack Quaid, right? The Boys star Huey. We all know Huey.
Yeah.
Saw a couple other notable actors. Amber Midthunder's not super well known, but she was in Prey.
She was in Prey, the last Predator movie, which was not good.
It is what it is. You know, we're making getting up there, but
some people liked it.
yeah. And
Some
then
people liked
another notable newcomer, I would say, Ray Nicholson, Jack Nicholson's son. He had a small role in Smile 2. He
had a very small role in Smile 2.
He was on the poster. He had that kind of...
is this his biggest role?
Yes, for sure.
Oh, man, we got to talk about
this. This is his breakout role.
We got to talk about Ray Nicholson later.
We'll talk about him later. And then, who else was there? There was one more.
Homie from Spider-Man.
Ah, yes, Jacob Batalon.
Jacob Batalon. He was a shining spot.
He wasn't in it for a lot, but when he got in there, he did it.
He played his sidekick guy. Like, he did his thing. He was Spider-Man's sidekick again.
Absolutely. But I would say, at least for me, the shining star of this thing, Jack Quaid, right?
Yeah, dude. He was good. He was good.
I think Jack Quaid has kind of found his niche. Like, it's great to see he's able to pull off this action role, but still maintain this kind of innocent, very relatable in many ways.
He's the new Tom Hanks, dude.
He's the new Tom Hanks.
Yeah, he's lovable.
Yes. He's so lovable. He's so lovable.
Yeah. So
yeah, and I think when we see him in The Boys, he is one of the main characters, but in this, he is the main character.
And he seems like a cool person in like real life too.
You see him doing these interviews, and people always call him out on nepotism, and he's like, "Yeah, my dad is Dennis Quaid and my mom's Meg Ryan. Obviously, I have opportunities, but just because the door's open doesn't mean I'm gonna automatically get the job. I'm still working hard at this, and hey, we appreciate his honesty."
So Jack Quaid is playing Jack Quaid in this movie. He's going to be one of these actors. I already see where his trajectory is.
Absolutely.
And he's going to be Jack Quaid in every movie, just like Tom Hanks is Tom Hanks
we're gonna
in every
love
movie.
it every time.
Just because, you know what I mean? Like, it's just you get attached to that person. Jack Quaid is definitely a person that I am attached to.
Yeah, and I think we see Jack Quaid as, this lovable guy, but we see him hitting these action sequences that it will blow your mind in a way. Like, he channels his inner John Wick if John Wick had never had any formal training.
Or any fight at all
or
in
ever
his
been
life.
in a fight in his life.
Yeah.
It was like, is the mentality that John Wick has to persevere, but only because for him specifically,
he can't feel anything.
He can't feel anything. So he wouldn't know anyways.
Yeah, exactly. But see, okay, so we'll save that for the end, but like him not feeling anything is a problem of the movie also. It's a cool thing about the movie, but then it's also a problem thing about the movie.
I know what you're talking about.
You know what I mean?
Certain instances.
So
really the only thing he feels is emotions for a damsel in distress, which he's trying to save.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is basically what the movie is about. He gets sprung off of like one time of getting laid, and and basically like he's ready to like die for this chick. Yeah, he's ready to die. It
reminds me a little bit of The Crow when we first reviewed that, just because. But at least they had a few.
They had a couple of months to like party together. Yeah.
Come on.
So this was one date, and then one intimate interaction, and he's like, "Yo, they're in."
Yeah.
He's in for the long haul. He's going to the ends of the earth. He's going to sacrifice every body part for this girl.
Yeah.
So that is part of the problem, because we went over the good things.
Yeah. But also I would say one last good thing that it kind of has to do with the whole narrative is there is, without spoiling anything yet, in the middle, there is this plot point that I don't think you guys will see coming.
Yeah, because I didn't see it
it's never been done before, but it's one that's pretty unexpected, I would say.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming just because of the tone of the movie. I was just on for the ride, so I wasn't really looking for like, oh, who's this and what's going on here and what's this relationship and what's all this. Like, I wasn't looking that deeply into it because it started as a romantic comedy. This movie starts as a romantic comedy, dude. Yeah. And then it switches into like a John Wick that can't fight movie. Basically.
Yes, absolutely.
It's brutal though. The action sequences are good though. They're very brutal, very visceral, and you will feel his pain even though he doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. But I think honestly that's a good transition point to say, hey, Jack Quaid, amazing, but were all of the characters, actors amazing?
No.
Not quite. and it's not to say that necessarily it's their fault. We never know. It's not like we wrote the movie, right? So it could be the writing, it could be the acting.
I think the writing, whoever wrote this movie...
Just certain points.
Certain points of the movie, how they wrote the characters really damages the overall movie because they're trying to hit this comedic point with characters throughout the movie because, you know, Jack Quaid's lovable, so the whole time he's like, oh, sorry about that when he stabs somebody or whatever happens, like, he's just like, oh, dude, I didn't mean to do that. Like, he's like the good guy.
Yeah.
And so you have other characters that are just like overly psychotic, and I don't get the direction of that writing with the characters. And this is supposed to be just a fun movie that you turn your brain off, but the characters do matter in a way where there are some things that happen later on in the movie where you're just like, dude, that's not even partially realistic ever in the history of humanity.
It kind of takes that. I know we've said John Wick a ton of times, but I feel like the John Wick approach of like that insanity of just all these people coming at him.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they don't even know who this guy is.
It's very intense. The action scenes are intense. It starts to get
intense, and then you start to see like not only is everybody coming at him, but just everybody's coming at everybody in a way, I would say, right? Like, it starts to get to that point where you're like, who, you never know what's
confusing. It's a little confusing. Yeah, because like, and it's not confusing in terms of like, I'm dumb, I don't get what's going on. It's more confusing in why did they write this like this?
Yes. Yeah.
They could have used the twist, and they could have used all this other stuff that they took from other movies, and that would have worked if they didn't write certain characters so psychotic.
Yeah. And I think the main character we're kind of talking about is Ray Nicholson's character, right?
Dude, that was a weird thing.
It's just so over the top.
He's like joking. It's like he's trying to like make light of everything. Throughout the movie, he's trying to come off as like, I'm a good guy. I'm just rob banks and kill people because, that's, I gotta live. You know what I mean? But I'm a good guy. And he's trying to come off as that, like, just like telling other people like, this is spoilers. We're going into spoilers.
No, we haven't spoiled it yet, but we can hit some spoilers.
Yeah, we're going into spoilers now because these are the things that we don't like.
All right.
So we're going into spoilers.
Spoiler time.
So you saw what we did like. If that convinces you, go. But now, Ray Nicholson, his character was written just like insane. Like, he was joking around like the whole movie, doing like these Marvel movie like quips, and like he was doing insane things while he was saying it. So it was like Jokerish, right? But it was also just like, no one is this.
Yeah.
At least the other characters in the movie, you're like, okay, yeah, that's okay. I accept that. Ray Nicholson was the one character where I was just like, dude, this is so exaggerated.
Well, and this is like a semi-spoiler because we don't want to fully spoil, but maybe we will. you like, think about this. If you are working with your family, even if it's in an evil fashion, are you gonna turn on them? Because
that was so weird.
It was such a small thing for him to just immediately, boom, he turns on his family.
Yeah, he turns on his family after like not even an argument,
like literally
not even a regular
disagreement of them working together in this like. I don't know. I mean, it felt like a mafia type
like
thing, but
they're like
the mafia would
5-year-olds.
actually give you more like rope. Like,
Yes!
like, oh, it's not just gonna be like over one disagreement.
Dude,
now I'm pulling a gun on you. It's like what?
The plot of this movie was definitely lacking, and that affected the characters because the plot line is we are a family that goes and robs things.
Yeah.
Right, and so they had to write their characters around that. But then they have another plot line of, but we're going to kill each other even though we're family. Like, we'll kill each other at the drop of a hat. Like, it doesn't even matter.
It really was like
drop of a dime. We're going to kill each other.
Like
we're turning on each other.
You've been through all this stuff together and your family, and that's all it takes.
And they're like professional thieves. They're like professional thieves, whatever the case is. Like, to turn on each other like that.
Yeah.
It was just like weird. I didn't get it. I didn't like it. That definitely took off some points for me because of that plot line of like family members just turning on each other just like so quickly. I was just like, what?
I absolutely agree.
Yeah, dude. So that didn't make sense. Yeah, that didn't make sense for Ray Nicholson to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the main biggest thing of this movie. Like the action was sloppy, but it was inventive sometimes.
Yeah.
And with the action sequences, dude, just because you can't feel anything, right? Like, he can still take, like, haymaker punches to the chin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he can still take, like, bleeding out. He can still take, like, all these other things that come with other than pain. Mm-hmm. Like, just because you can't feel pain, dude, like, if you can't fast heal like Wolverine, you're going to be in trouble after, like, your first hour of doing this.
Yeah. I think it's like, if anybody's ever, had something where you got injured and you're like, yeah, it hurts a lot, but even though it hurts, I still can't move this leg. Like,
yes!
It hurts, yes, but even if it didn't hurt, I still can't move this leg.
Doesn't even matter with adrenaline.
I broke this, I did that. Yeah. Maybe you can't feel it, but it doesn't mean it still works.
If you break your arm and the bone is popping out, you're not going to be pitching with that arm tomorrow, dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it kind of like, yeah, he has this cool power, or not power.
Yeah.
Everything's a Marvel character now.
Yeah.
So he has this thing where he can't feel, that's a cool genetic difference or whatever, but like at the same time, it negates it if you can't live through what you're doing to your body. Mm-hmm. What good is not feeling anything if you actually still get injured from it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that kind of brought down the action scenes to me in a way, because it was like, dang, this is just so unrealistic. He was like burning his hand. He's he's doing all this stuff to his body. He's in a full body cast at the end of the movie.
I feel like,
which was funny.
Yeah, that was funny. You gotta just buy. I think it's one of those things like, you think action comedy, right? Comedy. You gotta buy into the narrative that like somehow this guy who has never done anything like this in his life survived, and all of the people who interact with him throughout
and he's gotten beaten up the whole movie. He's gotten beaten up emotionally and physically. Yeah.
And even the people who have known him when he was younger are like, how are you still alive? Like, which is, right? He's not even able to eat food, you'll find out.
That was another weird thing. He's like, dude, I never have eaten solid food his whole life.
It's too risky.
Because he thinks that he's going to bite his tongue off.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, bruh.
That's not.
You haven't thought to like try to eat regular food, and then like if you bite yourself or something, like look at your mouth every time you eat or whatever. Just carry a mirror around, dog. Like you're 30 years old. He's 30 years old in this movie.
Is he? Oh yeah.
Yes, he's 30 years old. right?
Wow.
You've never eaten solid food your
He
whole
must have
life.
just been blending it and just drinking
There
it.
was things about this movie, dude, that was
Yeah.
just like, dude, I'm cool with like suspending belief or whatever.
Sure.
I'm cool with that. But like, there was some character things, and
Yeah.
that brought it down. Definitely.
All right. Well, what do we think? It's about that time.
I was feeling that coming because I'm
Yeah.
just like, I can't crap on this anymore.
No.
Yeah. You
I'll
first,
kick us
man.
off.
What did
I'll
you
kick us
think?
off.
Yeah. What did
Okay.
you think?
So, rating time. So for me, it was a roller coaster, right? With a lot of those things that we just talked
Was
about.
it a fun roller coaster?
It was a fun roller coaster.
Okay.
Overall, I had a great time.
Yeah.
And even though it was a roller coaster, what took me up to the top was Jack Quaid. I know we already said
Jack
that.
Quaid's good. He's good.
He lived up to the expectation. What I thought was going to happen overall was what happened and exceeded my expectations as far as like the comedic element of it.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I'm giving it an 8.
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
8 out of 10.
I'm going 8 out of 10. Those
All right.
things that we talked about that were negative kept pulling me down, but Jack Quaid brought me back up.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
8
what
out
about
of 10.
you? What
All
about
right.
you?
So I
Don't
think,
worry about my score.
No.
Tell me what you want to,
So I think what I'm going to go with, because I'm trying to weigh the things that I didn't like about the movie, which was Nicholson playing an overly psychotic person that just turns on family members at any moment.
Sure.
And the fact that Jack Quaid's character can feel no pain, but then he's doing like damaging things to his body that your body is going to break down and not be able to react like he does throughout the whole movie. So to take those things and put that in consideration with, did I have a fun time during the movie? I did have a fun time during the movie. I am going to try not to be hypercritical this time. And I'm going to give it a 7.
Wow.
I'm going to give it a 7
way.
out of 10. I'm going to give it a
Nice.
7 out of 10.
I was not
because
expecting that.
I was leaning towards a 6.
Okay.
But at the same time, while I was watching it, it was set in a universe where, yes, there are things that I think are just overly simplistic and overly ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just overly ridiculous.
Absolutely.
But that is the type of movie that it is setting out to be. And the things that did worked more than the things that didn't for me. And so I will
That's
go
exactly
with a
how I
7
felt.
out of 10. This was a good movie. This is a movie that you go to have a good time.
Absolutely.
You are going to chuckle.
Bring your friends.
Yes, this is a movie you
See
go
this in
to with a
theaters.
friend. Yes, definitely. This is a good date movie.
Yeah, good date movie.
Yes,
too. Yeah.
yes, it's entertaining. You're going to have fun as long as you don't question morality or plot development. Or, I mean, it's
Once
fun.
you start to question it, don't worry. Huey will come back in and he'll he'll do something crazy.
Exactly.
And you'll love it.
Exactly. Jack Quaid
Jack Quaid
is the reason to go
Killed it.
see this movie. If you are a fan of Jack Quaid, then this is a reason to go see the movie, and you will not be disappointed. It's good. It's like if Tom Hanks played nobody.
Ooh, interesting.
You know what I mean?
I like that take. Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because nobody gets beat up a lot.
2021 Nobody. That was Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah, Bob Odenkirk gets beat
yeah.
up in that movie.
Yeah. But
Right?
if it was Tom Hanks.
If it's
that's
Tom Hanks, a
interesting.
younger Tom Hanks in his prime,
Yep.
younger Tom Hanks in a beat 'em up movie, this is what that is.
That's what it is.
Jack Quaid is Tom Hanks. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see if he evolves into like doing a serious role.
Yeah.
Because everything I've seen him in is like
It's been
action-ish and very like
Well,
nice guy. I'm
So
everybody's
he was in
friend
Scream,
guy.
and kind of like he's toes the line
In the
with
newest
being-
Scream?
The newest Scream.
Okay,
yeah,
I never saw that.
Yeah, you
I
gotta
never
check it
saw
out.
that.
He did a great job.
Okay.
I don't want to spoil that either, but he does a great job.
So
Toeing
he's the
line.
villain then.
Ah.
He doesn't want to spoil. He's like, he doesn't want. I don't want to spoil it, but he's great. He's great in it. Yeah, Jack
Nice.
Quaid is the villain
Nice.
of Scream. Dang, spoiler.
Dang.
Never seen it. I'm calling it right now. In the future, if we ever do a review of the Scream series,
Oh man. Anyways.
we're gonna have to remember this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, but yeah. So 7, 8. 7.5.
7.5. That's a great
7.5. Yeah, it's a good score. That's
Yeah.
a really good. So really good.
Yeah.
Right in between great. Because 8 is great.
8 is great.
7.5, really good.
Really good.
So this is a really good movie. You guys should go see it. I'm Cude,
I'm JC.
and this was Fresh Out.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, definitely. Party on, dudes. And women.
So what did we like about this movie?
Some of the cast.
I gotta start over.
Not all of the cast.
All right.